As you may have noticed, we're into the holiday season now. So Hanukkah is well underway and has been for several days now. And Christmas is coming. The solstice is in a week and a half. Kwanzaa is underway. Diwali has happened. And for various traditions, there's a wish list. And the wish list is, because it's gift-giving season, people don't like to think of, they don't like to use their imagination. Just tell me what you want, and I'll go find it for you. So there's the notion of a holiday wish list. And the question is, what do you want? And when we're given somebody's holiday wish list, we get to choose from their little catalog of desires and say, well, this one is inappropriate, and this one's way too expensive, and this one is cheap, and they already have this one, et cetera, et cetera. And we get to go through that evaluating process of deciding what it is that we're going to bring to it. And when we come up with our own holiday wish list, there's a big question. Beyond what do you want, do you think you'll get it? Do you think you're going to get whatever it is that's on your list? It turns out that's actually really important. So we're talking about wish lists today, and you know, the one people think about is Santa's list. You know, checking it twice, naughty or nice. Naughty, nice, who's to say? Who can tell? Well, yeah. So that puts Santa right there in the position of being judgmental about what's on your wish list and whether it's appropriate for you. So when you have something that's on your wish list, there are some questions that come to mind. What's on it? Who do you think is going to give it to you? And how, perhaps, do you think that is going to come about? I've been working on a project with the Archive of God Calls, and came across several of them, which were kind of interesting. So the first one is called Fish Your Wish, and this was from 2016. Let's go fishing. Before we set out on our trip, before we get our gear together, before we get in the boat, we need to decide what it is we want to catch. That will inform all the steps that lead up to our trip. And that's the way it works all the time. Before you set out to get something new in your life, you've got to decide what it is that you want to get. That way, when you drop your hook in the water, you're that much more likely to fish your wish. Fishing for salmon, fishing for crabs, different locale, different equipment. And it's not like one of them is good and the other one is bad. It's just two different things. So is wishing fishing? We're dropping our hook and hoping that something nibbles? Well, when we come to the idea of wishing, there's that implication that we're hoping, that there's something that we would like to have happen in our lives. And interestingly, we've talked about this before, hoping implies doubt. When I'm hoping for something, it means this is what I'd like, and I'm not really sure that it's going to happen, so I hope that it happens. And we use the word hoping a lot. I find myself instinctively, you know, when somebody's been feeling under the weather, I'll say, I hope you're feeling better. And then I realize, I don't want to hope that they're feeling better. I want to know that they're feeling better and would love to have them report back to me that they're feeling better. But it's different than the way that we're trained of, hope everything goes well with the job interview. I hope you get the call back. And that's acknowledging, first of all, our desire to support somebody and having something new in their life, and the fact that we believe that it's possible they won't get it. So how do you deal with that doubt? How do you change from that doubt to the knowing? And this is also not something that's new, because what we've got to know is not that we're going to get what we said we wanted. What we're going to get is exactly that which is going to be uplifting for us. You know, Breen was talking about a part, a role that he's up for, and it'd be fun to be cast and to be in a show and to have all of that stuff going on. And if there's going to be a tragedy at the theater, then good not to get cast in that role. If there's something else that's going to be available to Breen, if he's not busy doing that role, then that's good too. So rather than say, this is what I want, that's the way it's got to be, that's the only way that I'm going to be happy, we attach ourselves to the circumstance, to the particular activity, and then we're on the roller coaster of hoping that this car that we got into is going to take us on a fun ride. And so there's the connotation of words. First of all, there's their meaning. Connotation is the secondary or implied meaning of a word. So when I say, I hope you have a great day, What I'm saying is, I'd like you to have a great day, but it's not my responsibility for you to have a great day, and it's completely possible that you're not going to have a great day. So it's like, one of those disclaimers at the beginning of the car ads, of the interest rates that they're not going to even. So that all gets packed into the word hope or wish. And what can we do to translate that into knowing? I hope you're well. I know that your experience, your physical experience, is one of perfection, and it is returning itself to whatever balance and harmony and uplift and comfort that is appropriate for you. It doesn't sound nearly as friendly. It doesn't sound nearly as friendly. But when we're speaking our word and we're being authentic about what it is that we're inviting into experience, that's the way it works. And when all of that wishing and doubting and hoping and knowing comes together in a way that we are able to speak what we know to be the truth, it may not sound quite as powerful as it did before, but another really powerful word comes into our experience, and that word is faith. Faith is when we know it. And when we're doing a practical prayer, we can say something, and when we know it, we can feel it. We can say something that we know is true, and everything that's not like that truth gets to go away. It gets to fade into the background because we now know this new thing, and that's faith. And sometimes we have to go on a fishing expedition through our consciousness, through our thought processes, to find what it is. What's the biggest thing that I could actually believe in right now? I want to have $100 million, and the little voice says, nah. 60-some years in, that hasn't happened yet. I don't know that it's going to. What is it that I can believe? 1 million, 2 million, 150,000. Finding a 20 on the ground. I mean, there is something in that realm which will work for me. So what I need to do is understand what it is that I want to embody, what it is that I want to invite, and then set my intention for that in a way that I can have faith that it's coming about. You guys have probably seen this book once or twice. I've put some markers in it once or twice. This is my working copy of the Science of Mind textbook. And Ernest Holmes talks about wishing in a few places in the book. This is from page 267, The Principles of Successful Living. Holmes writes, "It's a great mistake to say, take what you wish, for you can have anything you like. We do not take what we wish, but we do attract to ourselves that which is like to our thought." And he continues on in all caps, "Man must become more if he wishes to draw a greater good into his life." And he used man in the generic, so don't take offense or think that you're off the hook. "We need not labor under the delusion that all we have to do is say that everything is ours. This is true in reality, but in fact it is only as true as we make it. We provide the mold for the creative law, and unless the mold we provide is increased, substance cannot increase in our experience. For mental science does not promise anything that will do away with the necessity of complying with the law." He goes on to say that the law is a law of liberty, but not a law of license. It is exact and exacting, and unless we are willing to comply with its nature and work with it, along with the lines of its inherent being, we shall receive no great benefit. And then back once again to all caps, "Every man," and again, ladies, you're not off the hook, "must pay the price for that which he receives, and that price is paid in mental and spiritual coin." Yes, you can have anything. And you have to make way in your own consciousness for it to come into your life before it'll come into your life. If I say I want a pony, but I don't want to take care of a pony, probably not going to get a pony. If I say I want a pony, I don't have any place to keep a pony, probably not going to get a pony. If, on the other hand, I am so dedicated and committed to the idea of having a pony that I research ponies, I find a place that I can keep a pony, I understand exactly what the responsibilities and the potentials are for a pony, I am opening up the way. And then what's going to happen? Somebody's likely to call and say, "I need a place to keep my pony. Do you know anybody?" And I'll go, "Well, as a matter of fact, I do." So that's what we're talking about. That's paying in mental and spiritual coin. We have to be ready to accept, to embody, to experience the good that we're seeking before we can have it. And sometimes the good that we're looking for is something that hasn't existed before. When you have a wish list or you have a dream board, those are all very powerful. With a dream board, you start with a blank piece of paper and you get some pictures and drawings. And we used to do this with magazines a lot when people had magazines a lot. And cut out the pictures of the things that fit the life and the experience that you want to have. And the limiting thing about that is that everything that goes onto the wish list, everything that goes onto the dream board in that case is something that you have seen before. There's a friend of mine years and years ago, she had done a dream board, vision board, whatever they were calling it at that time, and she packed it away with all of her stuff, and 15 years later she took it out. And she had, in the meantime, gotten married and moved into a new house, and she looked at this old dream board and she says, oh my God. On this dream board was a kitchen, and the kitchen was looking out over a field, like lots of nature outside the field, and it was an ad for a Genair stovetop. Nobody has Genair stovetops. Even then they didn't. But the house that she had moved into had this view. There's the kitchen with the window and nature out and back and a Genair stovetop. It can work. And before you do something like that, you need to ask yourself, do I want to have a Genair stovetop? Because as we're setting this process in motion, we're not in control of what it's going to look like when it shows up. So there's the question of what it is that you want to have, and even more importantly, when you have it, how's it going to feel? Another part from the Science of Mind. This is from page 300. Suppose one wishes more activity in his business, more success. And this is not necessarily his, this works for everybody. Every day he should see his place filled with people, see them looking at and finding pleasure in his merchandise, seeing them comparing prices and realizing that he's offering good values. See them delighted with the service he is giving. See them cheerful, beaming, expansive as they enjoy the atmosphere of his place. See the uplift, which is the spirit of his goodwill that it gives them. Make a mental picture of it all. We're dealing with intelligence, and we should recognize the power we are working with, really realizing our oneness with it, and then we should ask for what we wish and take it. The idea is not to say, I want the bottom line to increase by a certain amount. In that whole story, it wasn't about what I want. It's not about how much money I'm going to make and how many people are going to come in. It's about the people who are showing up saying, this is a great place for me. I'm finding great value in the prices and in the products and in the offering and the service. I feel at home, I feel comfortable. And that's what we're talking about when we let go of the line item on our wish list. Once you have it, how are you going to feel? And the next question is, if you have that feeling without having that thing, is that okay? I want to have a satisfying career, and I'm currently working as an XYZ, so I'm going to move up the ladder that way, and then I'm going to get to this particular level, and then I'm going to be happy. Great, maybe. What's the happiness going to feel like? What's the satisfaction going to feel like? What is that success going to bring internally to you? Because when we set our intention to have that experience, it doesn't matter what happens with the job. Something completely out of the blue can show up. Somebody from 30 years ago can say, hey, I'm looking for some new music to publish. And then suddenly, boom, didn't think that was going to happen. Suddenly the client says, oh, can we change the schedule a little bit? Yeah, that's what I needed to do anyway, but since it was your idea, we're good to go. How will it feel when that feeling arrives? Another God call. This is an almost new one from 2019. The genie comes out of the bottle, looks at you and says, you are my master, I will grant you one wish. Anything you want, you can have that wish fulfilled. What do you wish for? Now, are you one of those people who's so pessimistic that they're worried about the possible negative repercussions of that wish that you wouldn't do anything? Well, if I wish for this, that might happen. So if I wish for that, that's not going to happen. And I'm not going to do anything. Okay? In business, we call that paralysis by analysis. Would you wish for something superficial that just changes your lifestyle? What would you wish for? The truth of the matter is the genie is always listening to your self-talk, to what you believe. And you always have the opportunity to change your thinking, change your belief, and change your life. The genie is listening, not to what's on your wish list, but to what's in your belief. Want to see something different in your life? Change your belief. That sounds easy? It's really easy to say that. But that's the process that we're always involved in. Find the feeling. Once I have it, how will I feel about it? Then invite in the feeling, let go of the details. I thought that by having this relationship, I would feel loved and wonderful and happy and content and peaceful. Let go of having that relationship and say, I am choosing to feel loved and harmonious and happy and peaceful. And then see what happens. Maybe exactly the person you were thinking about might be a completely different situation. I know numerous people who wound up in relationships that were completely different than they thought they were looking for. I've seen numerous people looking for a relationship where they can feel unconditional love, and they wind up very promptly with a puppy. Or a pony. You can have any of it. And the idea is to settle into the feeling of what it is that you want to have and invite that feeling. And then there is a genie. The genie says, your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. Invoke the genie, let the good into your life, because you deserve it. And happy holidays. So it is.